Hello everyone, welcome to Warren's Team Talk. I hope you're all well, and thanks so much for coming to pay my channel a visit. So, and then also, if you're new to my channel, Warren's Team Talk, thanks so much for coming along and giving it a try. And I hope that you really enjoy your visit and that you enjoy watching the video I've got. And I'd like to give you a big warm welcome. Anyway, so I'm back again today with another exciting, hopefully interesting new video for you, which today is episode 31 of England's most successful football club. And today I'm going to be looking at Wolverhampton Wanderers, the team that play in the all gold shirts and black shorts, who come from the Black Country in the Midlands. Anyway, it seems that Warren's team talk coach is ready and raring to go for a trip up to visit our friends at Wolverhampton Wanderers. So let's go on board, enjoy the in-bus entertainment and work our way up there. Anyway, I just want to say that I'm so happy that this disgusting proposal to form a European Super League seems to be stopped for the time being. I just couldn't believe it when I heard it. I just could not believe it. Mind you, knowing the people that were behind it, I have to say probably I'm not that surprised. You know, Stan Kroenke and his ilk, they just disgust me, to be honest. And it just reinforced the reasons for me why I've been boycotting that club ever since he's been involved in it. He's not interested in football, he's not interested in this country, and he's certainly not interested in Arsenal Football Club. He just sees Arsenal Football Club the same as all these other owners do, as a cash cow. And the sooner that we're rid of the cancer that they are out of our football, the better. Anyway, I'm not going to go on about it because I can feel myself getting really angry. So anyway, I hope let's make sure that moving forward, though, we make sure that nothing like this ever happens again, and it makes football take a long, hard look at itself, and we put measures in place to make sure that it's more accountable, that it's more transparent, and that fans get more of a voice in how it's run. Anyway, now just before we get on the road, I just want to remind you all that if you haven't done so already, please put a like on my video, please subscribe to the channel, and please remember to share the video around with anyone that you think might enjoy watching it. Anyway, please take care and let's get on the road, and I hope you enjoy the show. So we've just pulled up outside Molineux, Wolverhampton Wanderers grounds, Wolverhampton Wanderers football ground in the Black Country, in Wolverhampton, obviously. Now we've come to find out all about Wolverhampton Wanderers for this episode. Now Wolverhampton Wanderers, they finished 10th in the Warren's Team Talk table, and they managed to get 4,823 points. And let's find out all about them and see what the story is with them. So Wolverhampton Wanderers Football Club, commonly known as Wolves, were formed as St Luke's FC in 1877, and the club has played its games at Molineux Stadium since 1889. The club was one of the founding members of the Football League in 1888, and Wolves became one of the first clubs to install floodlights in the early 1950s. And from then, they arranged a number of televised friendlies against leading clubs from overseas, which were played under floodlights and televised. and it is believed that these games were key to the introduction of the European Cup, which started in 1955. Wolves' traditional kit consists of old gold shirts and socks and black shorts. So yeah, like I said, it's the team from the Black Country with the old gold shirts and black shorts. Anyway, well, Wolves' first success came in the first season of the Football League in 1888-89, when they finished third in the Football League, 12 points behind their league champions that year, Preston North End, and 1 point behind the Midlands rivals, Aston Villa. Wolves' biggest win of that season came when they defeated Everton 5-0 at home, and they had also had the second best defensive record in the league that season, behind the invincible Preston North End team. This season also saw Wolves reach its first ever FA Cup final, but unfortunately for them, they came up against the all-conquering Preston North End team at the Kennington Oval in London, when the game attracted a crowd of 27,000, and Preston ran out that day comfortable winners by 3-0. Now, starting in the following year, in the 1889-90 season, the club secured 2 consecutive fourth-place finishes in the Football League in the first of these 2 seasons. In 1888-89, they finished 8 points behind the league champions, Preston North End. And then in next season, 1890-91, they finished 3 points behind the league champions, Everton. Now, 2 years later, in the 1892-93 season, Wolves reached their second FA Cup final, and on this occasion, they played Everton at the Fallowfield Stadium in Manchester, which I believe was the only time that the FA Cup final was ever played at this venue. Now, en route to the final, in the first round, Wolves defeated Bolton Wanderers 2-1 after a replay. In the second round, Wolves defeated Middlesbrough 2-1. In the third round, Wolves defeated Darwin 5-0. And then in the semi-final at the Town Ground in Nottingham, Wolves defeated Blackburn Rovers by 2-1. And then in the final itself, again, like I said, which was played at the Fallowfield Stadium in Manchester, which was attended by a crowd of anywhere between 45,000 and 60,000 people, depending who you listen to. Wolves won the game 1-0 thanks to a goal from their Harry Allen, which was scored in the 60th minute. Here we can see as well a picture of the Wolverhampton Wanderers winning 1893 FA Cup winning team, and also the match ball that was used that day. So yeah, that's quite interesting, isn't it? I mean, you look at the kits and the hats and everything. Well, I find interesting is the caps. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyway, so 3 years later in the 1895-96 season, Wolves reached the FA Cup final again, and sadly on this occasion the club lost 2-1 to the Wednesday, who in later years would be known as Sheffield Wednesday, in front of a crowd of just over 48,000 at the Crystal Palace Stadium in London, when the Wednesday's Fred Speaksley scored 2 goals. A further 2 years later, in the 1897-98 season, Wolves secured a third-place finish in the First Division Tier 1 by finishing 7 points behind the league champions Sheffield United. And then a further 2 years on, in the 1899-1900 season, Wolves successfully finished 4th in the First Division Tier 1 when they finished 11 points behind West Midlands rivals Aston Villa, who won the league title that year. Wolves' next success came 8 years later, in the 1907-1908 season, when whilst playing as a second division tier 2 team after being relegated in the 1905-1906 season, they reached their 4th FA Cup final. Now, en route to the final that season, they defeated Bradford City 1-0 at home after a replay in the first round. And then in the second round, they defeated Bury 2-0 at home. And then in the third round, they defeated Swindon Town again at home by 2-0. And then in the fourth round, they defeated Stoke 1-0 away. And then in the semi-final, which was played at Stamford Bridge in London, they again won by 2-0. And then in the final itself, Wolves came up against Newcastle United, and they won this game by 3-1 to take the trophy back up to the Black Country. And this game was played at the Crystal Palace Stadium with a crowd of just under 75,000 in attendance. And this obviously gave Wolves their second FA Cup final victory in their history. Then 7 years later, in the 1914-15 season, which was the last before World War I, Wolves secured a 4th place finish in the second division tier 2 when they finished 8 points behind the second division title winners that year, Derby County. They were, though, the second division's highest league goal scorers that season, highest league goal scorers that year with 77 goals. They also missed out on promotion that season as they fell short of the 2 promotion spots at the top of the table by 5 points. Also this season saw Arsenal, who had finished 5th, promoted ahead of both Barnsley, who'd finished 3rd, 4 points ahead of Arsenal, and Wolverhampton Wanderers, who finished 4th, and 2 points ahead of Arsenal. So the reason as to why this happens seems to be surrounded in mystery and a lot of rumour and so on and so forth. However, there were some allegations of irregular payments made by Arsenal's Henry the Fixer Norris to get the club promoted. But anyway, in the second season after World War I, in the 1920-21 season, Wolves, as a second division club, reached the FA Cup final again, which was their 5th appearance in the FA Cup final. However, on this occasion, they sadly lost 1-0 to Tottenham Hotspur at Stamford Bridge in London, in front of a crowd of just over 72,000. 2 years later, Wolves were sadly relegated, though, to the 3rd Division North, Tier 3. And then Wolves won an immediate return to the 2nd Division, Tier 2, in the 1923-24 season, when they won the 3rd Division North Tier 3 title, finishing 1 point ahead of 2nd place Rochdale to win promotion at the first attempt. And then 2 years later, in the 1925-26 season, Wolves secured a 4th place finish in the 2nd Division Tier 2 when they finished 11 points behind the 2nd Division champions that season, the Wednesday. They did miss out on promotion, though, by finishing 8 points behind 2nd place Derby County, who had claimed the 2nd promotion spot. And then 5 years later, in the 1930-31 season, they repeated the trick of finishing 4th in the 2nd Division Tier 2. And on this occasion, they finished 14 points behind the 2nd Division champions Everton and missed out on promotion by finishing 7 points behind second place West Bromwich Albion, who claimed the final promotion spot. The next year, in the 1931-32 season, the club made up for the disappointment of missing out on promotion when they won the second division Tier 2 title to win promotion back to the first division Tier 1. This season also saw Wolves score 115 league goals in 42 games. Then 6 years later, Wolves achieved 2 consecutive second place finishes in the first division Tier 1 in the 1937-38 and the 1938-39 seasons. In the 1937-38 season, Wolves finished 1 point behind the league champions that year, Arsenal, and then the next year, in the 1938-39 season, Wolves finished 4 points behind Everton, the league champions that year. And this season, also Wolves managed to have the best defensive record in the league when they conceded only 39 goals in 42 games. Wolves also reached the FA Cup final in the 1938-39 season at Wembley Stadium, but sadly for Wolves, their opponents, Portsmouth, ran out comfortable 4-1 winners in front of a crowd of just over 99,000 people. Now, in the first full season after the end of World War II, in the 1946-47 season, Wolves finished 1 point behind the league champions that year, Liverpool, in the first division Tier 1. Wolves also finished behind second place Manchester United on goal average by 0.009 of a goal to finish third in the table. Then in the 1948-49 season, Wolves reached the FA Cup final at Wembley Stadium, again when they faced Leicester City. Now, Wolves' journey to the final that season saw them defeat Chesterfield 6-0 at home in the third round, defeat Sheffield United 3-0 away in the fourth round, defeat Liverpool 3-1 at home in the fifth round, defeat West Bromwich Albion 1-0 at home in the sixth round, and then defeat Manchester United 1-0 after a replay in the semi-final. And then in the actual final, Wolves defeated Leicester by 3-1 at Wembley Stadium, which attracted a crowd of just over 98,000 people. And then the next season, Wolves followed up their FA Cup victory by finishing second in the first division Tier 1 when they finished behind Portsmouth, the league champions that year, on goal average, and where the difference was 0.396 of a goal, when Portsmouth and Wolves both finished the season on 53 points. This season also saw Portsmouth and Wolves clash at Arsenal's Highbury Stadium in London in front of a crowd of just over 35,000 people for the FA Charity Shield. The game itself ended in a 1-1 draw, which meant that Wolves and Portsmouth shared the trophy that year. 3 years later, in the 1952-53 season, saw Wolves start a 9-year period of success when they only finished outside the top 5 in the first division Tier 1 once. It started in the 1952-53 season when they finished third in the first division Tier 1, finishing 3 points behind the league champions Arsenal. And then the following year, in the 1953-54 season, Wolves went on to win the first division Tier 1 title when they finished 4 points ahead of their Black Country rivals, West Bromwich Albion. The following season, in 1954-55, the club followed up their title win by finishing 4 points behind the league champions Chelsea to land a second place finish in the First Division Tier 1. This season also saw Wolves face West Bromwich Albion in the FA Charity Shield at Wolves Molineux Ground, and the game ended in a 4-4 draw, with Wolves Swinburne scoring a brace and West Brom's Allen scoring a hat-trick. This 4-4 draw meant that both clubs shared the trophy, and then the next season in 1955-56, Wolves secured a third-place finish in the First Division Tier 1, 11 points behind the league champions that year, Manchester United, and behind Blackpool, who finished second on goal average, when Wolves and Blackpool both finished on 49 points, and Blackpool finished ahead of Wolves by 0.018 of a goal. Then, starting 2 years later in the 1957-58 season, Wolves won 2 successive league titles. In the 1957-58 season, Wolves won the first of these league titles by finishing 5 points ahead of second place Preston North End and scoring 103 league goals in the process. And then the following season in 1958-59, following their league title win from the year before, gave them qualification to entry to the first round of the European Cup. However, sadly for the Wolves, they were knocked out in the first round when they lost 4-3 on aggregate to Schalke 04 of Germany. This season also saw Wolves lose 4-1 to Bolton Wanderers at Bolton's Burnden Park in front of a crowd of 36,029. And then Wolves also won the First Division League One title when they finished 6 points ahead of second place Manchester United, and they scored that year 110 league goals in the process. So it seems that they were scoring a lot of goals in this period. When you look at it, I mean, they scored 110 in that season, the 1958-59 season, and they scored 103 goals in another season. So it looked like they didn't have any problem with putting the ball in the net. Anyway, the following season, in 1959-60, Wolves finished second in the First Division Tier 1, 1 point behind the league champions that year, Burnley. So they missed out on promotion by the slimmest of margins from winning 3 league titles in a row. Wolves also defeated Nottingham Forest 3-1 at their Molineux Ground to win the 1959 FA Charity Shield in front of a crowd of just over 32,000 people. And then Wolves also made another foray into Europe when they reached the quarterfinals of the European Cup, when they lost 9-2 on the aggregate to the Spanish giants Barcelona. So unfortunately for them, that European Cup campaign come to something of a grinding halt when they played Barcelona. But I know all about European Cup campaigns coming to grinding halts against Barcelona. 10-2 on, well, got hammered by Barcelona in one season, and then another season we lost 10-2 to Barcelona on aggregate, Bayern Munich 10-2 on aggregate. So there's no humiliation with losing heavily to a side of that stature. Anyway, moving swiftly on. The following season also saw Wolves reach the FA Cup final, and on this occasion, in the 1959-60 season, Wolves' journey to the final saw them defeat Newcastle 4-2 after a replay in the third round, defeat Charlton Athletic 2-1 in the fourth round, defeat Luton Town 4-1 in the fifth round, defeat Leicester City 2-1 in the sixth round, and then defeat Aston Villa 1-0 at West Brom's Hawthorn Stadium, 1-0 in the semi-final. And then in the final itself, Wolves defeated Blackburn Rovers 3-0 at Wembley Stadium in front of a crowd of just over 98,000 to take the trophy back up to the Black Country once more. And then the following season, in 1960-61, Wolves finished third in the First Division Tier 1, 9 points behind that season's league champions and 1 point behind second place Sheffield Wednesday. Wolves drew 2-2 with Burnley in the FA Charity Shield that year, meaning that both clubs shared the trophy. And as a result of winning the FA Cup the year before, Wolves competed in this season's European Cup Winners' Cup, and that year they managed to reach the semi-finals when they were knocked out in the semi-finals by Glasgow Rangers. And then 6 years later, in the 1966-67 season, after falling back into the second division Tier 2, Wolves secured a second place finish in the second division Tier 2 when they finished 1 point behind the second division champions that season, Coventry City. And as a consequence, Wolves were able to win promotion back to the First Division Tier 1. 4 years after this promotion, in the 1970-71 season, Wolves secured a fourth place finish in the First Division Tier 1 when they finished 13 points behind the 1970-71 league champions Arsenal. This fourth place finish also saw Wolves qualify for the 1971-72 UEFA Cup, and then the 1971-72 season, in that UEFA Cup tournament, they were unfortunately lost 3-2 on aggregate to English First Division rivals 3-2 Tottenham Hotspur in the UEFA Cup final. Then 2 years later, in the 1973-74 season, Wolves defeated Manchester City 2-1 at Wembley Stadium in the League Cup final in front of a crowd of just over 97,000 people. And this season also saw Wolves reach their UEFA Cup second round when they were knocked out by Lokomotiv Leipzig of East Germany on the away goals rule when the tie ended in a 4-4 draw. Then the next season, in the 1974-75 season, saw them in the UEFA Cup again, and then on this occasion, however, Wolves lost 5-4 on aggregate to Portuguese side Porto in the first round. Then 2 years later, in the 1976-77 season, Wolves found themselves back in the second division Tier 2, and they won the second division Tier 2 second division Tier 2 title when they finished 2 points ahead of second place Chelsea, which got them back promoted up to the First Division Tier 1. And then 3 years after their successful season in the second division, in the 1979-80 season, Wolves made it again to Wembley Stadium, again for the League Cup final, when this time they defeated Nottingham Forest 1-0 in front of a crowd of 96,527, with Andy Gray scoring the winning goal in the 67th minute. And then after, unfortunately, being relegated back to the second division tier 2 in the 1981-82 season, the very next season, Wolves won automatic promotion back to the first division tier 1 when they finished second in the 1982-83 season, and the second division tier 2 league campaign. So yeah, they won automatic promotion back to the first division tier 2 that year because they finished second in the second division tier 2 title race. Then Wolves sadly suffered 3 successive relegations, starting in the 1983-84 season, which meant that by the 1986-87 season, the club found themselves back in the 4th division, tier 4. And then in the 1986-87 season, they finished 4th in the 4th division, tier 4, but unfortunately they failed to win promotion when they lost 3-0 to Aldershot in the end of season 4th division playoff final. And then the next year, in the 1987-88 season, Wolves softened the blow somewhat of missing out on promotion the previous season when they won the 4th division tier 4 title, when they finished 5 points clear of second place Cardiff City, and also won promotion back to 3rd division tier 3. And then Wolves also won the Football League trophy this season by defeating Burnley 2-0 at Wembley Stadium in front of a crowd of just over 80,000 people. And then the following year, Wolves followed up this Tier 4 title and EFL trophy success in the 1988-89 season by winning the 3rd division Tier 3 title by finishing 8 points ahead of second place Sheffield United, which saw them promoted back up to the 2nd division Tier 2. And then 6 years later, in the 1994-95 season, Wolves finished 6 points behind their 1st division Tier 2 champions that year, Middlesbrough, and they failed to win promotion to the FA Premiership Tier 1 after they lost 3-2 to Bolton Wanderers in the end of season promotion playoffs semi-final. 2 years later, Wolves unfortunately missed out on promotion again from the 1st division Tier 2 in the 1996-97 season when they finished 22 points behind 1st division champions Bolton Wanderers and 4 points behind Barnsley, who finished 2nd, and Barnsley that year claimed the final automatic promotion spot. This 3rd place finish also meant that Wolves went into the end of season 1st division Tier 2 promotion playoffs, but unfortunately for the Black Country Club, Wolves, they again lost in the semi-finals as they had 2 years previously when they lost 4-3 on aggregate to Crystal Palace. And then 5 years after losing for the 2nd time in the end of season promotion playoffs, they again finished 3rd in the 1st division Tier 2 in the 2001-2002 season when they finished 13 points behind the second division champions that year, Manchester City, and 3 points behind their Black Country rivals, West Bromwich Albion, which meant that they missed out on automatic promotion. However, their third place finish that year meant that they went forward to the end of season playoffs, and again, sadly for Wolves, for the third time they again lost in the playoff semi-finals, and this time it was to Norwich City. And the next season, the very next season, in the 2002-2003 season, Wolves finished 5th in the First Division Tier 2, when they finished a massive 22 points behind the First Division champions that year, Portsmouth, and 16 points behind second place Leicester City, who claimed the final automatic promotion spot. And that 5th place finish again meant that they qualified for the end of season First Division Tier 2 playoff tournament. And on this occasion, Wolves defeated Reading 3-1 on aggregate in the semi-final, and then Sheffield United 3-0 in the final to win promotion up to the FA Premier League, which ended their 20-year exile from the top tier of English football. So, moving swiftly on. Unfortunately, though, the very next season, in the 2003-2004 season, which was the first season in the FA Premier League, Wolves were relegated back down to the Championship, Tier 2. But then 5 years after suffering that relegation, in the 2008-2009 season, the club returned to the FA Premier League when they won the Football League Championship Tier 2 title by finishing 7 points clear of second place Birmingham City. And then they also finished that year 10 points clear of second place Sheffield United. Unfortunately, Wolves suffered 2 successive relegations starting in the 2011-12 season, which meant that by the 2013-14 season, Wolves found themselves down in League One, Tier 3. And then in the 2013-14 season, Wolverhampton Wanderers did manage to win the League One Tier 3 title by amassing a massive 103 points and scoring 89 league goals and conceding 31 league goals for the season. This season also saw them finish 9 points clear of second place Brentford and 17 points clear of third place Leyton Orient, which meant that Wolves won automatic promotion back to the Football League Championship Tier 2. Then 4 years after this Tier 3 title success, they then won the Football League Championship Tier 2 title by finishing 9 points clear of second place Cardiff City and 11 points clear of third place Fulham, which again meant that Wolves won automatic promotion up to the FA Premier League Tier 1. Now, as a result of their 7th place finish in the FA Premier League in the 2018-19 season, Wolves went on to qualify for the 2019-20 Europa League season qualifying round, and Wolves progressed that year to the quarterfinals, where they unfortunately lost 1-0 to Sevilla of Spain in a one-off tie. And as you can see on the way, they defeated Crusaders of Northern Ireland 6-1 on aggregate. They also played at our Armenian side, Punjik, and defeated them 8-0 on aggregate. And then they also defeated Torino of Italy 5-3 on aggregate. And then in the group stage, they played Braga, Slovan Bratislava and Besiktas of Turkey, and they came through that group. And then in the round of 32, they defeated Espanyol and then moved forward to the round of 16, where they accounted for Olympiacos before being knocked out by Sevilla in the quarterfinals. Now, as usual, when I'm doing these videos for you, I looked for an all-time Wolves 11, and I was able to find a team on a website called onesports1.com, and their all-time Wolves 11 was in goal, Bert Williams, right back of Derek Parkin, left back of Bill Slater, centre back of Stan Cullis and Billy Wright, and then they had a centre midfield partnership of Kenny Hibbett and Ron Flowers. And then on the right midfield or right wing, they had Derek Dugan. And then on the left midfield, left wing, they had Jimmy Mullen. And up front, they had John Richards and Steve Ball. So what do you think about this team? Do you like it? Do you think it's any good? Please let me know in the comments section of the video below. And if you've got any all-time Wolves 11s that you'd like to share, please put that in the comments section for me. And also, if you've got any interesting stories or comments you want to make about Wolverhampton Wanderers, please leave that in the comments section as well, because I'll be delighted to hear them. So yeah, all that needs us to do now is we need to go and have a nice cup of tea and a slice of cake with our friends from Wolves. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed their story. Sadly, everyone, that's the end of today's show. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it interesting. Now, as I said in the video, please, if you have a greatest ever Wolves team, please put it in the description in the comments section of this video, as well as if you've got any interesting stories or comments about Wolverhampton Wanderers Football Club that you'd like to share, that would be fantastic as well to put that in the comment section too. Anyway, but please remember, before you go, if you haven't done it already, please subscribe to my channel, put a like on the video, and please, if you can share it around or pass it on to anyone who you think might enjoy it, that would be absolutely fantastic. Anyway, but please remember, all this is completely free, and it only take you a second to click on the subscribe or the like button or the share button, and hopefully it will help keep you all entertained. Anyway, I'll be back again on Wednesday with another episode for you. But more importantly than any of that, please remember to look after yourselves and share some love and kindness and joy around the world at this difficult time. And please keep talking to each other and supporting each other. Anyway, well, thanks very much for watching, everyone, and take care of yourselves. I love you lots, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye.